get this on.
All right, here we are then. Thursday night, and I think we are actually live on our channel tonight, which is good news. The chat is available there as well. So if you want to join in, you want to ask us any questions, then go ahead, and we'll try our best to answer them. Hang on. Right, I might have to put my headphones in because I'm getting an echo on that. Right, so with us tonight, anyway, we got the Mad Mistake, we got Sean Middleton, we got Jacob, and we got Michael Bowers. We're missing Dino at the moment, but we are trying to locate him somewhere. And myself, wee Philly. The lads, can you kick this off while I try and sort some earphones out for myself? So, Sean, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, obviously I've been asking questions on Twitter all week. The first question is from YSI73 SAFC, and he basically says, what do you think will get the fans falling back in love with the club again? I'll go with my mistake. You can go first.
A new owner.
Short answer.
Short but sweet. Michael?
Not being competent at transfers, and yeah, a new owner, one who doesn't seem to be hiding away from the fan base at the moment. So yeah, can I just copy Terry's answer? That's his was just short but sweet, straight point.
Short but sweet.
Yeah, not much more to say really.
Jacob?
To be honest, I would just love to know who sent in job applications for the new academy manager at the Academy of Light, to be honest.
Someone from Eastleigh, probably.
Yeah.
No, I know. Jeez, it's well, do you about the what's it called, the Brett Baker taking over the as the club secretary during the week, got announced in this. Brett Baker formerly from Swindon, and it was the one Eastleigh. Eastleigh. Yeah. Oh, that's a shock. Eastleigh FC. But for me, I think to get us falling back in love with the club, mate. I'll always be in love with the club. I just think a bit of honesty and a bit of talking to the fans and letting us know what's going on. Because I just think at the minute seems to have been a miscommunication between the fans and the board. And when Stuart Donald first came in, he did do the podcast. He's talked to the fans and he said the right things. But I think just at the minute, it's just a case of, I don't think anybody believes a word that any of them saying, really, isn't it? It's just a case of, are they telling the truth? Do you know what I mean? Philly, what's your thoughts on that? How do you think the Suns fans could fall back in love with the club again?
How can they fall back in love again?
Yeah.
It's everything's pretty down at the moment, isn't it? It's just I don't know. I'm just have we is that the first question of the day, is it?
That was the first question now.
Shit question.
All right, mate.
Should we go on to the second question?
Yeah.
Go on.
It's from @Macam Tweets. He basically said, what is the top 3 attributes you'd expect from any potential new owners coming in? Now, what would be like the 3 main things you'd expect from them coming in? Michael, I'll let you go first.
That's a unique question. I don't think I've had one like that before. What was it? Top 3 attributes from a potential new owner?
Just what would you expect them to bring to the table?
To not take out the club's own money to go and buy the club for a start. I think probably if I looked at them 3 main attributes would probably be, again, honesty. Don't be because Donald was overly honest probably in his early stage. On one extreme of being overly honest, and now he's going the other extreme of saying absolutely bought all. So I'd say overly honesty to a certain extent. A bit of transparency with the fans, obviously, that's one of them. Another one is a bit of a willingness to understand that this is going to be a project that's going to take quite a while, and you have to be financially committing to it. And probably the main one is to, and as cliched as it sounds, do everything for the best interest of the club first and yourself second. Obviously, I understand you've got to understand the business side of things. That's fair enough. Football, although it's like many other businesses in the world, it is nevertheless a business. People are in it to make money. But, you know, just think of, you've got to, I think ultimately I'd want someone who isn't going to forget the football side of things as much as finally balance the football and the financial side of things. That's pretty much that.
My mistake?
I don't know if that was 5 things or 2 things, but
No,
still.
3, just a couple of 3.
I probably
Well,
didn't. Go on.
The first thing I want the new owner to do is completely remove Stuart Donald from any ongoings at Sunderland Association Football Club. Totally. So he has no input at all in the club. We want a complete new owner in with these new ideas. And obviously with the cash, like Michael says, transparency to the fans is really key. Communication to the fans is really key. You know, Donald was quite that way on to begin with, but it all went pear-shaped. We want someone obviously not as obviously sort of like as on Twitter like Stuart Donald was, but be able to talk to the fans and sort of communicate with the fans on a weekly basis, let's say, and have people in place like a good managing director, if that's the way he wants to go, who's actually going to come out and actually say get involved with the fans. I want to say somebody come in and look after the academy. Let's get the youngsters. Let's get some good youngsters brought through. We have good youngsters at the academy. We've had them for years. Let's get them in love with the academy, in love with Sunderland. Let's keep them at Sunderland. Let's put some money behind them and make them that they want to stay at Sunderland and play for Sunderland. And let's have the managers actually believe in the youngsters when they come through and get them in on the benches and get them in the team.
Good point, my mistake. Jacob?
Number 1, don't act in the manner of a fan, basically like what we did with the Will Grigg transfer. Number 2, I would say bring in the right recruitment people. And number 3, what Terry said, basically just invest massively in youth at our club and look outside of the box in terms of bringing in players for the future all over the world, as well as just in this country.
Good points, Jacob. Good points, right, Philly?
What's the question again?
Right. Obviously, if top 3 attributes you'd expect from the potential owners coming in, what would you want? What would you want from them?
Well, it's like everybody. You want somebody to come in with a big pot of money, don't you? And then they can invest it. And you know, you got to invest in the team. At the end of the day, the team's the most important thing. That's what's gonna get you promoted, and you get promoted, and that's what then brings in, you know, more revenue. So I'm just disillusioned with it all at the moment. I'm just hoping you're going to talk about the Saudi thing, because I'm raging about that.
Right. Well, obviously, the 3 attributes for me, first of all, is honesty. I think, you know, again from last week, I know I had a bit of a disagreement about Donald and everything, but same time, it's like when he first come in, I must admit, when he first come in, he did say the right things, but I was always skeptical. Wasn't sure. So I just want this new one to come in and have like a plan. Do you know what I mean? Like as Terry says and Jacob said, get the academy going as well. Get the young ones, keep not selling the young ones, like, you know, bring them through. I mean, look at some of the young players over the years. That's our academy's been great. Jordan Anderson, Pickford. We've had some great players. You know what I mean? Coming through the academy. It's a case of trying to keep the players and not just selling them for like what all. You know what I mean? I mean, that's, you know, we've built that academy and it should be looked at and it should be looked after, and it just seems like it's been left to dwindle. Like, I think as well, the new owners, as Philly just says, you need somebody who's going to have a bit money. Unfortunately, Donald hasn't. And like you say, just come across the fans and speak to the fans and just tell them, you know, that their views on the club and which way they want to go on that, basically. Anyway, Philly, as you were saying about there was a comment on Total Sport by Nick Barnes, and Nick Barnes is obviously well respected, as he's done a great interview with Jacob on our channel, which was really good. He basically has it on good authority that Stuart Donald turned a big money bid from a Saudi Arabian consortium in April. The reason for it was as they preferred the other bidder, Mark Campbell. Can you go first on that one?
Go on, Phil.
Yeah, can I go first? Right.
Go on out. Let it
I must
out.
admit, I've had a lot on this week, so I've not seen a lot what's gone on, but I did see this thing where Nick Barnes said about in April he believes a consortium, a Saudi consortium, come in and wanted to buy the club, and it was sort of refused. Now, as you know, I'm probably Stuart Donald's biggest ally on here, if you like. And however, if that's true, and again, you find it hard to doubt Nick Barnes. He's got a fair bit of credibility, and talk about being pissed off, because if that's happened and we've missed out on the chance of Saudi, right? He still wanted either somebody else to buy it, or he still wanted a part of it on the board or whatever. After all he said about, you know, for the good of the club, if somebody else comes in who can take it forward, then I'll step aside and all that. And it has properly pissed me off, if that's true. And again, you know, we don't know, but I do think Nick Barnes is very credible. And that's what's making me sort of like sway towards thinking that's probably true. And I'm not happy at all. Angry. Thank you.
Jacob, what's your views on it, mate?
Yeah, Terry almost burst my eardrums there. Yeah, basically, sorry. Yeah, just the fact that basically, the fact that Stuart Donald looks like he's turned down this offer from the Saudis back in April, I believe it was, just sums up the state we're in right now, and that no one basically believes a word he says anymore. And like, I just don't see him at all bringing that connectivity back with the fans. Like, he's dug a massive hole for himself now with this whole news coming out and building bridges. I just don't see how he's going to do it. I really don't. It's going to be doesn't matter like how many associates he brings in from his previous club, Eastleigh. That will just like rattle the fans up even more. To be honest, it's just all dark times, and nothing will change, in my opinion, unless Stuart Donald goes.
Good points, Jacob. I'll leave Michael to the last there because he's done a video during the week, which I'll bring up in a minute. My mistake, what's your feelings?
I don't see how bringing Mark Campbell in and keeping Stuart Donald at the club is going to make a nice smooth passage for Stuart Donald. I don't know what we said last week. There's no way in the world he's going to let somebody come in and kick him out as first option. He wants to stay at the club. He wants to have his fingers in the pie. He likes the spotlight. He wants the big payday. I think he does want some really rich owners to come in eventually when we're higher up in the leagues, the championship, and get a massive payday. But I think this moment in time, he wants to stay at Sunderland and try and get it further up the tables because he wants that massive payday. And he's not going to bring anybody in, like we said last week, with Michael Gray and Gordon Armstrong consortium, because they want rid of him completely. So they have no chance of getting involved. The Audis won't have Stuart Donald. They'll have their own people. They don't want Stuart Donald at the club. So they're not going to be involved. He's thinking about himself only, not thinking about the club, not about the city, not about the fans. He doesn't give a shit about anybody else but himself at this moment in time. And that's the way he's probably been throughout, even before. It was a smoke screen. He came in, I'm doing this, that, and the other, and he sorted the business out. But it's always probably been a smoke screen for what's happening now. This is the real Stuart Donald that we're seeing now. This is probably the real Charlie Medford. This is just my opinion, but this is what I think. This is what I'm going to stop now anyway, fight myself in trouble. But there's no way on earth he's going to sell it to Saudis because he wants to be at the club still. Simple as. So Mark Campbell or whoever it is going to let him stay at the club, and they're going to be coming in soon. That's it.
Michael, what's your feelings on it, mate?
You can see by my hand gesture, I'm just like apathetic towards it all at the moment. Yeah. steady on, Phil. But like, seriously though, like with Donald turning down this, like I'm with you guys. I think Nick Barnes is a very credible journalist. I think that he have a lot of good when he says good authority, I trust him. Unlike Stuart, Donald actually trusts Nick Barnes and saying, no, yeah, he is on good. He's actually is on good authority. Yeah. And for me, if he's turned down this alleged Saudi consortium bid, the only way that for me I wouldn't be angry at him is if this Saudi consortium had dodgy motives and ulterior things, or there was something really dodgy going on behind the scenes, even though that would be a bit rich of Stuart Donald to turn them down for that when he's not been great behind the scenes himself. But either way though, like I believe that if it's because he wants a stake in the club, then Donald has just really burnt every possible bridge that he can. He claims that he said, what was it on Sunderland's Hard Eye? I won't outstay my welcome. When the fans want to tell me that I'll go. When was that? 6 months ago? And he's still here. Yeah. So for me, no, I'm amazed that Phil didn't try and break the screen. To be honest, I thought he was going to get that angry. I was really hoping for a proper wee Phillian style rant there. And yes, I've invented that phrase. But I'm just like, no, Donald, you claim you want best of the club. Then why did you turn that bid down? Why did you turn the bid down just because you want to stay at the club? Like, but then clearly, what you think? Oh, I'm interested in the best interest of Sunderland. Well, then clearly that's bullshit. Then that's absolute cack. If you think that you staying here with Mark Campbell is going to get you more brownie points with Sunderland fans, you're either naive or you're just incredibly what's the word? I'm struggling to think of that's how annoyed I am. I'm struggling to think of the right coherent words to talk about it. And it's all going to be, as Jacob said, it's going to be completely apathetic until Donald goes. And I'm just at the point now where it's like, come on. If you really want them, the only way for me that Donald can turn this around now is if we go out in the free agent market and get not one of the best players of League One, and that will get us into the top 2 next season. Obviously, manage it with wages. That's fine. We understand that. But, you claim you want to get more money in the long run. Well, try your hardest to get the bloody championship, you twat.
I see. I've got a message sent off. I've got a message sent off Paul Wilson, Michael's friend, and he sent us the video. Class Paul. He sent us the link, and I obviously listened to it on, was it Tuesday night?
He sent me it as well.
Total Sport. Yeah.
You just finished your work. So I listened to it, and I was like, I listened to 3 times to make sure I'd get an all right. But I mean, if he's turned a big money deal down for like the Saudis to take over the club, right? When normally he hasn't got the money to take us forward anywhere. For me, it just thinks of like, well, he's just being petulant now and he's being childish. He's just like, he's basically saying like, well, this is my toy and you're not getting it. You know what I mean? But I'll go back earlier on. Like, I think all of us can agree now that everything he says is just it just seems like bullshit. That's what it's coming across, and it just seems like he just wants, if he sells the club on, he wants to be part of. I think all the fans now, I think unanimously, we don't want Donald at the club anymore. So it'd be best on all sides if him and Charlie and Sartori just sell the club to somebody who's going to take us forward. And Stuart Donald is just not that man.
I was just going to counter with something, actually. There's a YouTuber called Thane SCFC who I'd really recommend watching because I think he talks a lot of sense. There's not that he made about Juan Sartori, because you've just reminded me of that he feels that Juan Sartori is probably the biggest liar of all because he's been the one who said, oh, I've got the money. Juan Sartori's going to be involved. Still waiting, mate. Still waiting. Where is he?
I want to make... With Juan Sartori, right, what's he actually done since he's been part of this club?
Well, one by one, what do you guys think about Juan Sartori then? Because I'm like, well, he's just, what's the point in him being here?
One word from Sartori up, Philly, one word.
Be careful what you say. Be careful what you
say. Just see it, man.
Go on, Bill.
Invisible.
Go on. Pointless, that's my word. Pointless.
My one word would be Juan Sartori. One word for Sartori. Who?
I just want to know if he's got Luis Suarez's number. Can he play in red and white for us?
We can't even afford Luis Suarez's left shoelace, let alone his whole body.
Really?
Can I speak, sir? Can we quickly jump in and get some of these people on the chat here? What's going through? SCFC Connor has asked and wants to know, will we go up next season? Mad mistake?
Bit of a long wait there.
I love how he's going.
I'm gearing up for something bigger.
Yes.
Hey!
Whee! Confidence at last.
Jacob?
Yes, just.
Oh, Michael?
Yes, providing we make the right moves in the window and we're actually proactive for once instead of being fucking reactive. Sorry for my language.
Sean, Mr. Doom and Gloom?
Same as Michael. If we get the right players in, I feel that Parkinson's the right man to get us up. He's had experience. So and there's rumours about Bailey Wright. Apparently we're going to get him in the next couple of days. So that's a positive. Like so, I think we're finishing the top 2 as well. So, yeah.
All right, fair enough. Well, I think I'm positive every season, me. I think we'll
By
be up by Easter. Yeah, up by Easter.
Part 2.
Giacorini has been on the chat, and he's been asking, I know we need probably strengthening all over the pitch, really, but which position needs strengthening the most, do you think? Mad mistake?
New owner.
Is the right answer.
Oh, God.
Who's going
Off
next?
Off the pitch, probably Jim Rodwell to piss off. On the pitch, probably. Oh God, do I have to narrow it down to one position?
Well, that's what he's saying. Which I know we need strengthening all over the pitch, really. But he's asking which position do you think needs strengthening the most?
Fine.
Striker.
Probably attacking midfield. Marcus Madison, get it done, solid. Right. There you go.
I would say I think we're very weak in the defence at the minute because we've had a lot of the players have gone. Flanagan's still in talks, so I would say I would say probably defence like, but then again, a striker. When we're trying for a striker, will Greg come for next season? Let's hope so. But if he stays, he's reported this morning that he's definitely staying. So you know what I mean. There you go.
Jacob?
Hopefully he starts banging them in. Off the pitch, a new academy director would help. For starters, on the pitch, I would say 2 or 3 players that can play out wide and definitely more quality up front. Charlie Wyke hasn't got the quality at all. If Grig's staying, he has to prove his price tag by start scoring next season. But on a positive note, there's been rumours on Twitter this week that we've apparently agreed a deal to bring back Bailey Wright. I'm not sure if there's any truth in that.
I've heard that as well. Like. Fingers crossed.
That'll be a start.
Well, here's one to chuck at you then. Obviously, Oxford are in the now the playoff final, so they could get promoted to the championship. If that happened, do you think there would be any chance of Stuart Donald trying to get back in at Oxford? It's his club in it, it's the club he supports, and what have you, Michael?
In which case, up the Oxford on Monday. Come on, lad. In which case, there you go. There's my answer to that. I don't know. If that's the case, then I'll be cheering on Oxford every single second of the playoff final. Then, so it's a possibility. Oxford will be if Oxford go up, and I think they will beat Wickham. Watch Wickham win. Now I've said this, but if Oxford do go up, league higher in the championship, 1 league away from the Prem, if they manage themselves correctly, why not? You might be tempted by the idea. It's his hometown club, isn't it? Same with Bethany.
Possibly. Mad mistake?
Who actually owns Oxford now? Anybody know?
I'm not sure.
No.
No clue.
No.
I mean, does he?
Jacob's checking, I think.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Go on, Jacob.
Sell Oxford for? Was it 10 million or not?
What's that, Terry?
How much did he sell Oxford for? Stuart Donald.
I don't know.
The owner, I can't pronounce his name.
Was Stuart Donald actually the owner at?
No, he tried.
He tried to buy the club.
He's got a share in some stake. I think he had a share in some stakes at Oxford. I will point out, you know how you can swap deals with players? Can we do swap deals with owners?
I don't think it's as straightforward as that, unfortunately.
Can go to Oxford.
I think him and Meffin and Sartori tried to buy Oxford a while ago, but they failed the the tests, didn't they? They failed the tests. So
yeah, here with them instead.
I wonder why they failed it. I wonder why they failed the tests. He probably didn't have the money to run the club.
Well, if they failed the fit and proper test, right,
How the fuck
then
they get
why
Sunderland?
have they
Exactly.
passed it then
Exactly.
when they've come to buy Sunderland?
I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
And it's
Like,
all the same. It's the
Exactly.
EFL, isn't it?
Us. The EFL hate us. There you go.
The Three Stooges.
Larry Moncurley.
Oh god. Thanks, Terry.
There's somewhere else on here. Somebody thinks that that the mad mistake should be academy director. Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
Couldn't do any worse.
You got any coaching badges, Terry?
I'll tell you for 2 more cans.
You better not be giving those academy players the Carling and the lager and everything then, Terry.
I'll keep them fit, though. I'll keep them fit.
Oh, okay.
Imagine Terry putting out the training cones in the morning when he's had a couple of cans.
Can you imagine that?
Get a cone.
Right, guys. Should we do a hashtag? Hashtag get mad mistake in. Mad mistake in. Do you know what it is? Mad mistake couldn't do any worse. We're already in a shit show with the academy anyway, so you know, might as well be funny.
Did you guys hear about the rumours that we were linked with a striker called John McAtee? From he's at Shrewsbury at the minute. It was linked on Twitter the other day. Well, he scored how many goals in 2 years? 0. Well, apparently we strongly linked him. We could be going to get him. John McAtee.
Where's he from?
He's from Shrewsbury Town.
Going up? Why are you not getting promoted?
And
Gee,
he's young and that. But,
why?
jeez, oh wait, man,
Sorry.
who's looking at these players?
Sorry, Sean. Where's he from?
He's at Shrewsbury Town at the minute.
I think he's at Scunthorpe.
No, so he
I
was
was
at
going to say
Shrewsbury Town.
that's two
He's
completely
at
different.
Scunthorpe. He's at Scunthorpe now, yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
that William Tucker on the chat asked that question. What do you lads think about the link to McAtee?
Well,
Straight away, Philly, if you look at his stats.
Can you make my tea?
I've never heard of him.
If you look at his goals, right, he scored, I've got the stats here, right? He's, well, there, 2 seconds. He scored a goal when he was at Curzon Ashton on loan, 1 goal. At Scunthorpe, he scored 1 goal in 8 appearances. But he hasn't got many goals. I think he's a young lad, but
He got a hat trick for Thornhill.
it's sort of type of striker that it would get the pulses racing for next season. I mean, if Will Grigg gets moved on, we sell Will Grigg and then we bring him in. That doesn't look good, does it? Oh well, lads,
No.
be honest.
Right,
Jeez, who's recruiting these players, man? Who's looking at me?
Massive. I was saying this sums up our massive problem with why we're not thinking to get promoted. Why the hell are Sunderland looking at Scunthorpe United, one of their best players? Where are they now? Bottom end League 2, bottom half of League 2.
Bottom of League 2, aye.
And they beat us last season.
Stuffed us. But I was saying the point is though, like, you know, if McAtee didn't get many goals, but he got tons of assists, I might be half interested because we need some of that on the pitch. Let's get some Monster Energy. But you know what? I don't get this. Why on earth are we looking at League 2 best players? Now, I know some of them can make the step up to League 1, but all the comments I've seen on social media this week that we're running ourselves like a non-league club is spot on.
Yeah.
We're not a non-league club. We're Sunderland. We're a Premier League sleeping giant.
Exactly.
I don't care what anybody says.
Exactly.
We should be a lot higher than what we shouldn't be unless they are genuinely going to come in and make us better. I'm not interested. There's loads of free agents out there you could get that if you could get them into a cohesive side, and Parkinson, as Sean said, can do it given the experience in his history. Why not? Why are we not targeting these players? It's really doing me head in. Look at Bailey Wright should have been signed by now. Tom Flanagan should have been signed by now. We should have been going for Marcus Madison.
I think, though, Michael, can I say something quickly? I think that it's because they're talking at the minute about the transfer window when it opens. So I think hopefully behind the scenes that we have signed a few, and they're just gonna when the transfer window opens. That's when I'm open, but I'm not optimistic. But
It's Sunderland. We don't like to do things the straightforward way.
Right. If a couple of things I want to jump in with. Firstly, I don't know how to take this one, but Bradley Young on the chat says, "I prefer Wee Philly as chairman than Stuart Donald." So is he trying to say that even Wee Philly would be better than Stuart Donald because Stuart Donald's really, I don't know. Well, thanks anyway, Bradley.
You put a crap in the wall.
Right. The other thing I wanted to bring up was last week we mentioned about Aiden McGeady and whether he was going to be coming back. And I think I've seen little bits where, I don't know if the Sunderland Echo or someone said, oh, there could be a way back for him or whatever. But I think I've since seen that if he comes back, he won't take any part and they'll just try and loan him out. Again, would any of you lot have him back?
But me personally speaking, I think that, well, there was when Parkinson first took over, there was obviously something going on behind the scenes. I'm not saying it was directly him, if rumors is true, but it was funny how when he got sent out on loan, we started to play well. So on that basis, I didn't think it's a good idea bringing him back. And now he has got a bit of quality, but I'm just going to cut this down straight away. He's on 16 grand a week, and that'll be the first thing Stuart Donald will do is get him off the wage bill. So he'll not be coming back. Guarantee you that.
Bad mistake?
Well, like I said last week, behind closed doors, allegedly he was heard talking in a local convenience store. And
I remember.
what he said was that as soon as Stuart Donald got Parkinson in, he thinks that Stuart Donald gave Parkinson instructions to sort of get rid of him because he wants him off the wage bill. He was the first person he wanted out of the club because of the wage bill. So you've either got two avenues. You can either say he caused loads of bother and he didn't get on with Parkinson, and that was the rift, or Parkinson was under instructions to make life awkward for McGeady to get him out of the club, and that's where the aggro came from. So there's two avenues. McGeady said, hypothetically, he's settled where he is now. He's not really that happy at Charlton. He want to stay at Sunderland to play for Sunderland. He his kids are settled, his family's settled. Why would you want to go anywhere else? I think next season, if he was brought back in the fold, if a new owner came in, a new manager came in, or this manager changed his mind, he was brought back in the fold, what the lad said last week was he could come off the bench and do a good job for the last 20 minutes. As long as he's willing to prove that he's a team player and not want to take all the limelight, I think it'd be an asset.
Sean?
I feel you already said mine on the.
Oh, you've said yours. Sorry about that, Jacob.
When you look at our squad depth at the moment, with like the amount of players whose contracts run down and we've let them go, like the squad is really thin at the moment, and I have no faith at all with the current financial situation the club's going. We're going to be able to attract the right players to come in. So with him still on a contract, I think we might as well use him, whether that he's going to be a first team player or a squad player next season. He can still provide the quality to get us out of this league. But I do understand the point that Sean made. There was definitely unsettlement in the dressing room when Phil Parkinson came in, and you could tell when we went on that unbeaten run under Parkinson, which started in December, McGeady played no part. He was taken out of the team, and then we went on this terrific run. He ended up getting loaned out to Charlton. So yeah, there was definitely something not right about that. But if he comes back and proves that he's changed completely and he is willing to play for this club because he is still contract, I think, how many has he got? Another year?
One more year left.
One more year, yeah. But before he completely walks away from football and hangs up his boots and calls it a day, he'll want to go out and help our club achieve success, and that's first by getting out of League One. So yeah, I'll take him back. Michael?
Well, to follow on from what Jacob said, no faith in the financial situation. Well, I've got no faith in the current regime. We'll do the right thing. We'll probably have him come back and let him go for free because we're numpties and stupid. But as far as the McGeady thing is concerned, yeah, if McGeady is willing to be part of a team game, and him and Parkinson are prepared to be on the same page, absolutely. I know Dino doesn't rate him as much as what we do, but for me, McGeady technically is one of the best players in League One, or at least on his day, he can be a real asset.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For me, if Parkinson was prepared, and this is the way I would use McGeady, if you're going to use him, the same way, this would be relevant actually. On Match of the Day, we're talking about how Newcastle used St. Maximum. He draws 3 opposition players onto him, freeing up space for everybody else. If Sunderland used McGeady that way, absolutely I'd have him back. But again, it requires everybody to be exactly on the same page. It requires everybody to be saying, right, like Maguire was allegedly having problems with Parkinson. Allegedly, again, I don't know if that's true, but if he was, and Mad Mistake, I think once said, oh, well, he's been the bigger man and he's aligning himself with Parkinson. If McGeady's prepared to do that, then I think Parkinson's an absolute idiot to not even try and use the most out of him. So for me, yes, but like John said, if he's on 16 grand a week, he's not going to come back. And even if he's willing to, we're probably going to be like, you know what, someone of his quality we could use, but nah, we'll just go and settle for Charlie Wyke on the wing instead.
Michael, that'll be honestly, this is the gospel truth. That'll be Donald's main priority this summer to get him off the wage bill.
And in which case, he's not prioritising getting promoted then.
Well, exactly.
Well, for me, I mean, I would have him back. I hate to think that, you know, he did cause all that. He was a bad apple. But again, we don't know, was he or wasn't he? But if he came back and played like he could, it's like that thing of when, you know, I mean, Teddy Sheringham and Andy Cole hated each other off the pitch, you know, but when they got on the pitch, they played and they were superb. And I think if he could, even if he had issues, if he could, at least when he was on the pitch, perform, then I'd certainly have him back. However, having said that, I completely agree with Sean in the fact that it won't happen because his wages are too high. And, you know, that it's all about money now. It's all about, you know, tightening the purse strings, really. That's how it is. Let me quickly jump on. I'll go on then, Michael, quickly.
No, I was going to say, but you know, we were talking about actually something I wanted to bring up. When we were talking about the McGeady problem behind the scenes, was this the same player who was willing to play through a foot injection to try and help us get promoted over a year ago?
Yeah.
So, like, is that the case? So maybe what Terry said has got substance to it then. If that's the case, then piss off Donald.
But was Jack Ross not in charge then?
Well, no, but yeah, he was. But the point was,
well,
McGeady,
that's.
No, but that's the thing, though.
Apparently, he loved Jack Ross, and when Jack Ross went, you know, he wasn't happy with that. Is apparently so. That's sort of an answer.
If that is true, then don't use him. But
right, Luke McDonald on the chat has said. I mean, obviously, you know, the season ticket sales now, you know, going to be right down, and why wouldn't they be if, you know, if the club can't offer you a seat to watch the live game. However, two questions really. I'll ask you, each one of you, when do you realistically think fans will be allowed back in the ground? And secondly, when they are allowed back in the ground, do you think our season tickets will just automatically go straight back up to, was it 24,000 or something we saw last season? Or do you think a lot of people are going to be sort of like put off because we didn't go up again?
Well,
Sean?
there was something coming today, Philly. I forgot to mention it on the AFL on Twitter. There was two, Michael, you might have seen it, there was two starts they were talking about. One was the 24th of August, and the next one was the 12th of September. Now, I think the 12th of September will be the start of next season. And I do believe that fans will be allowed to get in the stadium. But I also believe that there'll be obviously they have to wear face masks, and I don't know how they're going to do it, like, but people have to keep a distance as well. So I don't know what the club's going to do. Then it must be working behind the scenes with this, but I believe that there will be safety measures in place. But I think we'll be back. I think there'll be fans back on the ground in September.
Well,
and on about the season ticket sales, 24,000 last season. Jesus, you know what? I don't think I reckon there might be about 10,000 at the minute. And even when fans start coming back because they love the club, fans will not give up. They love the club, but you know, it's in the blood. I still think a few thousand will come back, but nowhere near the 24,000.
Well, I like what you say about September, because I keep saying, you know, I think people will be allowed back in the pubs. And when I say back in the pubs, I mean city centre pubs and nightclubs and things like that. I think September's quite realistic.
Yeah.
Now, however, what they're going to have to do and what they're talking about doing with schools and secondary schools, they're on about just not having any social distancing rules in place while you're in school, because when you're moving from class to class and the classes change, that's the only way you can do it. Now, if they did the same with football stadiums and with the likes of nightclubs, and then if they had the rule where it's possible, when you're not in those situations, then socially distance. However, in certain situations, I think they'll have to scrap that to get the economy going again. Really, Mad Mistake. What do you think?
Good point, Philly.
I think the fans who will be allowed back in the stadium in probably September time, I think there's going to be a cap on how many fans will be allowed in the stadium, which is unfortunate. I don't know how they're going to do it, because if we had 24,000 season tickets like last season, I reckon they'll be capped at max 20,000 for next season. So I don't know how they're going to decide which 20,000 is a first come, first serve, or I don't know how they're going to do it. But I think that there'll be a cap. I don't think everyone's going to be allowed to come back into the stadium like the olden days. I think it'll be capped, and I think there'll be some seats taken away or black sacks or whatever it is put over them, so you can't use those seats. 15 to 20,000 max. And again, I don't see it, and I don't know what's going to be a fair resolve to get there. Is it going to be sort of part season cards, and then you have certain fans in for certain matches, and other fans can go to other matches? I don't know what they're going to do.
See, the way I see it though is with social distancing and saying whether it be a meter or 2 meter or whatever, right? The fact when you're side by side, and I know it doesn't work for the people in front of you and the people behind you, but when you're side by side, surely you can be side by side, because when you're projecting your voice or whatever, you're not projecting it, you know, directly to that person at the side of you. I just think the only way to do it will be to scrap the social distancing whilst you're in a venue like that. And to be fair, you're outdoors, so it's a lot safer than if you was in a pub or a nightclub. Mad mistake?
The thing is, Leicester is Leicester still in lockdown now?
I think so.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yes.
So I heard that Sunderland is quite close with they were quite close with their new affected virus. So if, say, Sunderland goes into lockdown, then there's going to be no fans allowed in the ground at all.
No, that's yeah.
I think Sunderland are quite close to Durham and Middlesbrough as well.
Closer to Ryop.
Yeah, not Ryop's in Sunderland. There you go. Jacob, what do you think then about the?
Yeah, I discussed this
fans-
with an interview. I discussed this on an interview I did recently with another football fan channel. Yeah, basically next season, I don't think the whole match day experience is not going to be the same again. And like when you look at the potential safety measures that they may put in place, where you might have to wear masks, there was even talk of like people's temperature being checked even before you go into the stadium. It's just completely going to like change the whole like atmosphere outside of the ground as well as in. And also like another interesting point to add is like the transportation going to games next. Even if like you're allowed a certain amount of fans back in, like there's still more danger also like catching it on public transport, like the Tyne Wear Metro and the buses as well. And that plays a huge part on a match day, getting fans to and from the game.
Good point, Jacob. Good point.
Yeah, that's it. It's all about. But this is what we're saying, though. You know, you can scrap the social distancing for certain things. So when you're in the stadium, when you're at the stadium, then the rules apply that on public transport you're supposed to wear face masks anyway. So, you know, they've got to do something to get the economy moving anyway. Michael, what do you think?
Well, I think that with the social distancing thing, I think that Sunderland are probably, in theory, going to have it easier than a lot of other clubs, because the stadium light is it's massive. It's quite, so you could space out, even if you wanted to do social distancing, you could space out fans a lot more. Having said that, I mean, I think I'm with you guys. I think September is a very realistic date to start the season. Whether it's realistic to get fans back into the ground, I'm not sure, because again, it depends if there's a second spike. If there's going to be a second wave, then there's absolutely very little chance of that being allowed to be the case. As far as like the new season card sales are done, well, to be honest, I think that many people are disillusioned anyway that I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. You know, there's going to be a lot of people that what was it, 24,000 last season cards?
24,000, 24.
The sales figure anyway. There's not. I think you'd be very lucky to even surpass 10,000.
Right. The thing is also, I think the only way to do it for me will be scrapping the social distancing, because can you see, you know, fans, even if you space them out, right? You've seen what's happened in the pubs over the weekend when people have been allowed back in pubs, and they've just gone and done their own thing. And you can guarantee, you know, football fans, you know, if you're distanced, right, they sit you apart and all that, and all of a sudden you score a goal, are you not going to go and jump on top of somebody,
Nah,
even if you forget it's the red mist,
Exactly.
isn't it?
when you like, exactly, when there's a goal, it's like, that's a good point. That, like, what are you going to do if you score a goal? And like, it's like a 90th minute. Obviously, I'll be outside, like, waiting for the supporters. But if you jump that hour, you know what I mean? What you supposed to do then?
Well, that's the
I
thing.
never
though,
jump on
with
anybody
the current-
anyway.
Well, with
Even with a mask on, I wouldn't jump on anybody.
well, that's the thing. With the way the current stewards are at the stadium anyway, you probably won't be allowed. You're not allowed to move seats. You're not allowed to go and show affection with other fans.
Yeah, but the thing is there'll be too many will break the rules, if you like. That there'll be too many for them to police. I mean, can you see, you know, in the southwest corner, right, where everybody stands up anyway. So, you know, it wouldn't happen. The only way it can happen is that the government scrap it for certain things, like they're going to do in secondary school. It's the only way it's going to work. Right. Apparently, Jamsani, our friend Jamsani, has said Wyke is leaving for Ipswich. Any truth in that? Anybody know? Mad mistake?
Really? Why on earth would Ipswich want Charlie Wyke? Are they following down the Sunderland route of staying in League One forever? I can't see Charlie Wyke going to Ipswich. I really cannot.
Watch him.
Go on,
Sorry,
Michael.
Watch him go to Ipswich and bang 25 goals next season. Now we've said that.
That would be the most Sunderland thing.
You know
ever.
what, right? Like, Terry, you're not supposed to say that. You might be putting Ipswich off. Ipswich, Charlie Wyke is one of the best forwards in the league. He's absolutely brilliant holding the ball up, and he's fantastic in the air. And his touch in front of goal is extremely accurate. It's so good. You're gonna have a real striker on your hands.
He's hard as nails.
Yeah, I know.
Philly, who said that, Philly, about Charlie Wyke?
Jamsani.
Jamsani, apparently.
What? Has he said that in the group? Just because
I don't know. He's not said it in the group chat, but SCFC Connor said that Jamsani said Wyke is leaving for Ipswich.
That's been denied. I think there was rumours, but I think he's staying. So I think we'll squash them rumours. Philly, I've got another question here. Because that's this question.
Yeah, go on then.
It's off Hulk Cast 10. Steve Cuss used to go to the same school as me.
Hang on a sec, Sean. Hang on.
Here comes
My wife's brought me a drink of orange. And what did he say as well? Come here. What did he say?
I said, your bath's ready and then you're going to bed.
All right. After this, I've got my bath.
That's fine. We'll just finish the show without
I've got to go to bed because it's a school night. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right.
It's school in the morning.
Give you a watch as well.
Hey?
Is Karen going to give you a watch as well?
Yeah, Karen's going to wash. She's going to wash me back.
Scrub your back.
She's going to get the cheese off.
Karen looked like she was stood frozen to the spot in horror at what Terry's just said.
Right. Moving on. Right. Okay.
And I know, of course, lads, I know, of course.
Sorry, go on, Sean. Sorry about that.
Steve Cuss, my friend off Twitter, he basically, it's about Will Grigg. Grigg, we've covered it a little bit, but he says, if Grigg commits and moves to the area, which he already should have done, should the team be built around his style of play, or is it too late and we should move him on? Michael?
I don't think it's too late. I think if Parkinson's got any sense about it, I think he would stop playing Charlie Wyke because he's a donkey and he's useless. If anyone likes Charlie Wyke, fair enough. I just don't think he's good enough, anywhere near good enough. That we need to go up and he's not going to score enough goals.
Yeah,
Will can do that if you play to his strengths. So for me, I don't think we will do that. I think we'll sell him, but I would use him. I would try the best you can. Sign attacking players behind him that will help get him the service.
Good point, Jacob.
It's a different Charlie Wyke. Honestly, he's not quite Zlatan Ibrahimovic, is he? Hasn't got quite the same touch. But the style of football when we do have Charlie Wyke, if we were to play that way to help his strengths, would just be terrible to watch. It's not my style of football at all. To bring players of a lot more better quality up front, players of pace, players of a lot more power as well, players that can have more shots on the goal as well.
Jacob, we're talking about Will Grigg.
And Will Grigg as well, because they both play the same way.
That's what I'm saying.
We had problems in my ear. Yeah, Will Grigg as well. Just I feel at the moment, since we brought him in, we've tried the long ball route, and like even him trying to hold the ball up is like it's not working at the moment. So if a decent offer came in for Grigg and Wyke as well, yeah, I'd accept it.
Right. My mistake.
Right, here we go. I hate stubborn managers. The fucking biggest bugbear. I hate stubborn managers. If they're a routine and they don't change, you got Will Grigg there's crying out for a system to play to him that suits him. He's got tried and tested already with other clubs. It works. He can score goals. Will Phil Parkinson change all his philosophy, everything he's done over the seasons, just to suit Will Grigg? I really hope he does, but I can't see it. If Phil Parkinson sticks with Charlie Wyke and doesn't play to Will Grigg's strengths and Will Grigg stays, by the first month, Phil Parkinson should be gone. Simple as. He's got to play to Will Grigg's strengths. Full stop. He's the best striker we have at this moment in time. We've got to play it and find a way to get him to score goals.
Yeah,
didn't he also say that apparently the way we play on the floor is going to be suited to Will Grigg anyway? Go on, Parky, show it.
Yeah.
Philly, what's your thoughts on that, mate? I think you said last week, didn't you?
I firmly believe that Will Grigg should be the what we build the team around. I think we should focus on him this season and play to his strengths, whether or not he will or not. He's still got a pedigree, and I think that's what we should focus on. Play to his strengths, and he starts banging him in, then we're laughing, I reckon. So
I totally agree with what you said last week, Philly. Will Grigg, he didn't become a bad player overnight. I'm not sure if his heart was in it when he first come. And as Steve Cass said, he hasn't moved in the area. I think Parkinson has rumored to say that he's got to move up in the northeast, because I'm not saying that's the reason why he's scoring goals, but obviously if he's travelling 2.5 hours each day, well, 5 hours there and back, it's not good. You know what I mean? So he needs to move in the area, and he needs to knuckle down. And this guy is a proven goal scorer in this division. He has scored goals. He did it at Wigan. You know what I mean? He was on fire at Wigan. And he did get the service, but you've got to play the ball at his feet. But also, he's got to look like he wants to be interested. He looks like he wants to score goals. And good strikers can score goals out of nothing. You know what I mean? And he just maybe this is a new start, new season, and Will Grigg can be the man to fire us up into the top two. Like, and get some.
Sean, we also need max power to provide the creativity to Will Grigg like he did when he was at Wigan.
Yeah, we do.
Man mistake.
What?
I thought he was wanting to be in there. Oh, were you singing? All right. Well, look, we've got about 5 minutes left, so we'll start to wrap it up. Go on then, Sean.
If I mentioned this, because I wrote it down, that I think Michael mentioned before about Charlie Mifflin. He obviously when he was interviewed, and he said about the 5 previous owners, we must have hounded them all out. We were talking about this. I don't think.
No, I'm not sure.
No, we didn't. I don't.
About it.
I don't recall it. I think different people came out and said it was nonsense what he was talking. But can I quickly jump in? We've got some people on the chat. Stephen Hensel, who's our friend, friend of the show, if you like, said he would wear a thong to watch Sunderland. Nothing new there. I wear a thong every time I go and watch Sunderland.
I'm disturbed there. Like,
yes.
What's going on there?
Good, even though.
Nightsea says he can't see the fans being allowed back in the stadium. He thinks the whole of next season will be played behind closed doors. Any thoughts on that, Jacob?
It'll be interesting to see if it is played behind closed doors. How much will that take the pressure off the players, particularly playing at the Stadium of Light, or will it cause the complete opposite effect where the fans can be the 12th man? Only time will tell.
Michael?
I don't think. Even if next season was behind closed doors, I think some of our players can't handle it in front of the crowd, so that might actually perversely benefit them. I don't think all of next season will be behind closed doors, though. I think the start of it will. Probably because.
Okay. All right, mad mistake.
I think it depends on how many clubs are financially in trouble. if you're going to get loads of clubs going to administration, they're going to have to let fans back in so they can obviously support the club, and the clubs can get some revenue from somewhere.
Well, that's what Luke McDonald on our chat has said. He can't see it because too many clubs would go bust, which I think is a very valid point.
That's,
You know, that's right. Sean, what do you think about it?
that's exactly why I think that we'll be back on the ground at the start of the season. I think obviously the government will be talking to the AFL now. We put measures into place, obviously the safety things, wearing face masks, etc. I think like the season ticket sales, that'll be low so that can spread people around. It's a bit of common sense as well. Excuse a bit of common sense. I think we'll be in phases. I think the fans will come in September, then it'll gradually build up. Then there's that case of a second split. And Michael's not there.
Michael?
No. I was saying, I completely agree. I think that if we can get fans, look, don't get us wrong. Whatever's the disillusionment's gone on with Sunderland, I miss going to games. I really miss the games. You know, go and watch Jacob's vlog of the Ipswich game. See how mental we looked when we scored. And one last thing, because I know you might not want to put so much with Charlie Methin's interview. All I'm going to say to that twat is, there you go.
Right, quickly, Jacob.
Sean, here's one for you. If football fans are allowed back into grounds next season and we're doing our interviews after the game, I'll tell you what, when we're doing the interview, social distancing is going to be very hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, just a quick one then before we go. First of all, your views on Joey Barton losing their playoff semi-final. Everybody happy with that?
Oh, well, no, because
I don't give two shits.
Next season. Fucking hope to see the back of him because he always gets his team up against us, doesn't he? Always does, man. But he's going to be again next season. Joey Barton.
All right then.
Joey who?
all I'll say, you go and watch Mad Mistakes if you want to have clarity on that. For me,
Mad Mistakes vlog. He's done a vlog on all that. So
I was more bothered that Pompey didn't go up because I could see Pompey doing well next year. But there you go. Just up the Oxford, just so you can get
right. Well, that's what I was going to say before we go. Then, Oxford or Wickham to go up. Mad Mistake.
Joey Barton should go for a pint with Charlie Metfin. Two complete plonkers. I'm going to go for Wickham.
You're going for Wickham, yeah? Sean, what do you think?
Oxford. I'm going for Oxford.
You're going for Oxford.
Yeah.
Jacob?
Oxford United, because Wickham didn't deserve a playoff place in the first place.
All right, good point, Jacob.
Michael?
Oxford, just so that because I know that Wickham voted to finish in the playoffs, and that's just stupid. If you vote to end the season, you shouldn't be allowed to play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Not their problem, of course, but Oxford, so you can go up and take Donald and Methven and Sartori, all the lying bastards, with you.
Well, for me, I think I'd like to see Wickham go up, just a little club, and to get up there and just. I'm not a fan of Wickham. I'm a fan of Oxford.
One final point. I was going to say one final point.
Yes, Bad Mistake.
It's always the club that sneaks into the playoffs that always gets promoted.
All I was going to say, one final point was, I remember when we got rid of Jack Ross and before we got new managers, some of our fans were snubbing their nose up at Gareth Ainsworth. I'll tell you what, Gareth Ainsworth gets Wickham up. He deserves manager of the season.
Right, I agree.
All right. Well, thanks very much, lads. That wraps it up for another Thursday. And we did actually manage to get on live tonight. So it looks like we've sorted that out. We will be back again, hopefully with Dino. We lost Dino. If you see him, anybody, can you just point him in our direction because we don't know where he is. And so the six of us will be back on next week. What's the Mad Mistake got?
Yeah, what's he doing here? Oh, subscribe.
Yeah. Hey, and don't forget,
subscribe to me as well.
hit the like
and
button, subscribe to the channel. Well done.
If anyone sees Stuart Donald, show him my video and give that message to him, please.
Right,
Thank
there you go. Right, so we'll be back 7 o'clock next week. We'll be live. If you want to join us on the chat, we'll try and give you all a mention if we can, and we'll see you all then. Thanks a lot. See you, lads. See you. Ta-ra. Bye.